graduated from college and began a teaching career in Kenosha. But I was one of those 1 year people for a while. 1 year in Kenosha, 1 year in South Milwaukee, and then St. Mary's Racine.
Okay.
Which was more stable. Stayed there for a number of years until school was closed. We had a meeting. Rosaire mentioned at the time that although we had a couple of sisters who had Native American blood, we had never served the Native Americans. And it just evidently hit the right spot, because that began the follow through for me getting involved in Native American ministry at Kashina, Wisconsin, which is the Menominee Reservation. Kids were always good. I liked my teaching experiences. I think that one of the best times in my life was the time that I spent in Kashina. I was teaching in the junior high then. That wasn't particularly easy, but the cultural experience of working with the Native American people and their whole aspect on the beauty of the earth and God's creation, it spoke to me. It's something that I really enjoyed. And the people were so giving of themselves. I mean, they were willing to sit down and talk to you and tell you things. I didn't experience those things, but they gave me the avenue into understanding what their life was and what it was like. My Native American experience was very good. Regardless of where I was involved with the people, but not the people that were the important people, the little people. I got to know the people that we lived near or lived with. I like to study people. I enjoy people. And, to learn from people of different cultures, I think is a real gift. When Joanne Bloomie and I taught at Stephen Bull and worked with the African American people of Racine, I think we both just delighted in it. Some of the stories were horror stories. That gets you in the heart. So you had the good times and the bad times. Did a stint in vocation office here. Then I went to northern Michigan and worked with the Native American people up there, which was another very good experience. People that I've treasured in my life, true friendships. Finally, I ended up in Texas. And I said, that was not my best shot, but I ended up in Texas at the birthing clinic at Westico. And again, what you found with the people was that, they were there to help you. It was the people who were native Texans. It was whether it was the nursing staff who came from all over the United States, or who was, people were always there to help. And I think that generosity of spirit, that makes everything possible. People are good. That's one of the things I think. We dwell so much on what is bad about what's going on that we fail to look at what's good. I think there's few things that are important in life. One is trust, one is love, and one is a sense of humor. I think the thought of the surprise of the future is what keeps me going, and I think others going. You know, if you want to be negative, you can be negative. If you want to look at life with hope and a promise, you can do that. I personally think you get further with the hope and the promise. Any day that I can find something to either laugh at or be pleased with because of something somebody else does, that's a good day. Admittedly, sometimes it's harder than others to do that, but I sure would rather laugh than cry. I don't know how to say this. I would like to say it with a real positive twist. Um, I think sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. One of the things that I keep coming up with is, do you realize what a small piece of humanity we are? And I think that, we've got our place in the world. We've got our place right here in Racine. Have we done everything right? Heavens, no. You know, either individually or as a community. Um, and I think sometimes we've gotten sort of stuck on what was the past rather than being out there looking for what is the future or what are the possibilities. One of the things that I have heard for a long time, and I agree with, I think as a community, we haven't made as good a use of the younger people in the community as we could have. We looked for the traditional people to lead rather than taking the risk with somebody else. There's people with different viewpoints. And I don't like that in us. I don't want to be too staid and dignified. I think we need to be out on the cutting edge. And so we make a mistake. Well, you pick yourself up and try again. And nobody ever told us we were perfect. I think it's an attitude. And I don't think we need to think we have all the answers. I don't think. If we get a little glimmer of what is right, I'll be satisfied. I think we've been more fortunate than we realize in the people who have been part of this community. I know I have. If I look at that book down there in the lobby at the pictures of the people who are deceased, it's amazing to go back and see how far back it goes, that you can identify relationships with people. And I think the Racine Dominicans have always been that. They've been welcoming and gracious. And I also think there's another side. You look at Benedicta. That lady was fearless. God love her. Travel with a piano. When travel was what it was when she came to the United States. These are people that delight me. I think we have a lot to be grateful for. But I wish we would never lose that sense of almost adventure or willingness to take a risk. Life has been good. And I have loved this community, and I still do. And I'm grateful to be here.